Welcome to another back of the net recording. This one is for scatter diagrams to help you try and make sure you get all the marks. And there are some particular things you need to show when you're doing scatter diagrams that you may not be putting in your work at the minute that means you miss a few marks. So I'll go through a few questions and then leave some for you to do yourself. First of all, the scatter graph, and there's the big tip there with the word scatter graph, shows information about each sheep. It shows the height and length of each sheep. And you would have seen lots of times in lessons this type of graph. The table gives the height and length of two more sheep. On the scatter graph, plot the information from the table. So here's your table. There's a scatter diagram. We've got to put two more bits of information on there. So first of all, make sure that there is, first of all, the horizontal, then the vertical, so the height. So for the first sheep, I know the height is 65 and the length is 100. Now just look carefully here. I am absolutely sure here that these are going up in 5. So I'm going to write a 5 there just to remind myself of that. And looking at this axis here, it's actually going up in 10s. And that's a common trick of the examiner, to change the scale on this axis to make it different from that axis. And that's just so they force you into making a silly error, really. So I know that each square going up here is worth 1, whereas going up here, each little square is worth 2. It's really worth identifying those two things, because that's one of the most common mistakes when it comes to plotting these 2 points. And this may be worth 1 mark, or both of them may be worth 1 mark. But there's quite a few people that miss a grade C by 1 mark. So be really sure about this, and this is a really good technique for that. I'm now going to go ahead and finally plot this. It's not too hard, because this one, it tells you where 65 is, and 100 is going to be there. Nice clear cross. Do not do a point. If you just do a point like that, you will not get the mark for it. And the next one is 80 and 110. And again, they've made this simple for you by not making you actually have to work out what all these little squares are worth. But it's really worth, although it hasn't happened this time, doing those two there. I've seen so many examples where students have plotted it wrong because they haven't worked the scales out correctly. So I've done that question there. Describe the relationship between the height and the length of the sheep. Well, you could say that as one goes up, so does the other go up. As a sheep gets taller, so does its length. They're not interested in that. They are looking for one word, and that word is correlation. So they want you to write correlation, and it's going up. As one thing goes up, so does the other. So it is positive correlation. The next bit, the height of a sheep is 76 centimeters. Estimate the length of a sheep. Now they're really looking here for you to draw in a line of best fit. They don't actually tell you, but your chance of getting the mark, or even if you get it wrong, getting some method marks, are hugely increased by drawing in a line of best fit. Now my technique for drawing in a line of best fit isn't about counting above and below the line. I like to just circle all of my data in as tight a sausage as I can manage, and I put a cross at either end of my sausage where the sausage would be tied up, and now I'm going to put a line through that. If you're anxious about doing that in an exam, do it in pencil, and then you won't be too upset that you're leaving stuff that maybe you shouldn't have on your paper. I just need to see where that tool went a minute. Okay, I should be using a ruler for this, but I tried to use a ruler just now, and it wouldn't actually work properly and was causing the whole program to crash. So with a ruler, and you can imagine that's a ruler line there, you draw in your line of best fit. That's my line of best fit, and notice it's gone through the top of the sausage there and the bottom of the sausage there. Okay, that may seem a bit of a palaver, but I'm now going to use that to identify the next bit. The height of a sheep is 76, so I need to find out where it's 76. Now this is where it's useful that I've been going up and identified it's 1, so 76 is there. So I draw a line with my ruler up to there. I then look across from there and read off on my scale here. this is where saying these are in twos is good, because a lot of students say, well, that's 110, that would be 109, and they would have lost a mark. But you can see there, we know already it's going up in twos, so 2 less than 110 is going to be 108. I can count up to be sure as well. 100 and 2, 4, 6, 8. Absolutely sure it's 108. So I'm going to write nice and clearly 108. And don't forget, I want to put in the centimetres to make sure I'm not penalised a mark for not putting in my units of measurement. Okay, that's an example question done for you. I'll move the board on. Okay, here's one for you to have a go. Press pause, please. Okay, welcome back. Hope you're able to do that. We'll go through the question. Straight away again, scatter graph is in there. The scatter graph shows information I'm noticing here about the number of umbrellas sold in the rainfall, and it's in centimetres. That might be quite useful when I come to write an answer. Okay, the first bit. In January this year, the rainfall was 6.1 centimetres. During January, Mr. Withers sold 32 umbrellas. So I've got to put that information on the graph. As I urged you to on the previous question, the first thing I always do is work out what each axis is going up in. This is quite hard here, so that's going to be 4, 4.5 is there. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, so that's going up, I'm sure of that, in 0.1s. This axis, 10, 20, 30. It looks like it's going up in ones actually. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yes, it's going up in ones. A little bit of time spent doing that is absolutely vital. Okay, so now I can plot this information. I want 6.1, so I've already worked out that it's just 1 square along from the 6. It's a bit hard here on this exam paper because it's not being copied too well on the photocopier. And then 32 umbrellas, so I know it's going up in 2, so up in 1, so my 32 is 2 up from there. It's going to be there. I've slightly missed there, but we call that accurate enough. Showing the information on the scatter graph. What type of correlation does it show? So this time they've already identified for you that it is correlation. You have to say, of course, that as one's going up, so as the other's going up. So the only thing is for you to write positive. There's nothing else you can put there that will score a mark other than the word positive. It says, in February of this year, Mr. Withers sold 40 umbrellas. Estimate the rainfall for February. Well, we talked about this before, and we could just sort of have a guess and see where on this graph it will roughly be, but we talked about the requirement from the examiner to put in a line of best fit and use that to show your data. So I'm going to draw my sausage around that data there. I'm going to put in the two ends of my sausage. I'm then going to draw my line of best fit. You should be doing this with a ruler. I'm just using this as my ruler isn't working on the whiteboard at the moment. There we go. That's my line of best fit. And now I'm going to read off the information I need to answer the question. I'm told in February he sold 40 umbrellas. So I know it's 40 here, so I draw my line neatly across with my ruler. And then I read down from there, again marking it off on the axes so it's really clear. And I think that's bang on 7. Yep, I'm going to say that that is 7 centimetres for that one. Okay. Hope you got that one correct. Another one for you to do. Press pause. Welcome back. Okay. The scatter graph, so straight away we're now in the realms of scatter graph. They do seem to put that there for you right at the start of these questions, so it's very easy for you to identify what the question's about. Shows the time in seconds it takes for a car to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour. For each car it also shows a maximum speed. What type of correlation does this show? Well, differently than the questions, we've now got a case where the pattern of numbers seems to be going down. As the time increases, the maximum speed decreases. So that is known as negative correlation. So we must write the word negative. The time a car takes to go from 0 to 60 is 11 seconds. Estimate the maximum speed for this car. And again, it says estimate, it's not a guess. When it says estimate, you have to show you're using a technique and not just pulling a number out of the sky or having a quick look and thinking, yeah, our fancy is probably going to be about 11. We actually need to do it properly. So we draw in our sausage around that data. Now if you're struggling to draw a sausage sloping downwards, turn your paper around 90 degrees so it's going around the other way. I'm going to put in my 2 crosses. I'm now going to draw my line of best fit through both of those crosses. There we are. And now I'm going to read the information off that I'm required to do. Estimate the maximum speed for this car. It was 11 seconds. So I'm going to use 11 seconds here and read up to the graph from 11 seconds using my line of best fit, reading across 120. So the estimated maximum speed for this car will be 120. Now they've been quite kind here and written the miles per hour in for you. I believe that's all for the scatter diagrams. It is. Hope that's been useful and helpful to you, and you're now able to make sure you gain the maximum marks. And I really cannot emphasize enough how important it is that you are drawing this line of best fit in and these 2 extra lines here in order for you to get the full marks for the estimate question. If you're not doing it, it's very unlikely you'll get those marks, and it's such an easy skill to do, you'd be very silly not to be doing it. Okay, I hope that's been useful to you. Go away and watch another back of the net recording.